PAL Tech Hub, empowering innovators.
Welcome everyone to this presentation of the first day of our bootcamp of artificial intelligence. I'll be presenting, and my name is Engineer Sadat Hasacha. Yeah, I'm working with Power Tech Hub, and this is our very first training of artificial intelligence. So, you're welcome, and I hope you enjoy the sessions and learn something out of it. So, today we will try to go back to the foundations and the history of artificial intelligence, how artificial intelligence comes into existence, where the idea comes from. So, in today's session, our learning objectives are going to rotate around us understanding what artificial intelligence is. We are going to also look at different types of AI. We are going to also try and explore real world applications of artificial intelligence, how we use it in everyday life. And we're going to also learn about the history, as I had mentioned before, and also learn how to distinguish between machine learning, AI itself, how machines learn, and deep learning. So, a question arises in the first start is, what do we understand by artificial intelligence? Basically, artificial intelligence is a mimic, or let's say it's a mimic of artificial intelligence, of human intelligence, because not of human intelligence, because where there is intelligence, there is data, there is decision to be made. So AI is just a simulation of human intelligence, because as human beings, we are intelligent in a way that we know we can differentiate from the wrong and the good. We can think and make a decision at the end of the day. This is how machines are also thinking nowadays, or are working nowadays. They put in a little bit of thinking with the data provided to their exposure, and then they make a decision at the end of the day. So the capabilities of artificial intelligence, they learn from experience, they adapt to new inputs, they perform, their performances like human, they accomplish tasks like humans. Their problem solving ability is and decision making is at a very high level right now. Then we are going to compare AI and machine learning and deep learning. We talked about that briefly. We now understand what AI is. It's just a simulation of the human intelligence, and I will explain that further. Now, machine learning, briefly, we shall explore machine learning in depth in our coming sessions. But for now, you may understand machine learning as a process of learning, or how machines learn. Basically, like, you can understand like that. Then deep learning is the same process of how machines learn, but this time around using what we call neural networks. So basically, deep learning, it uses already existing data, and then it finds patterns in that data until it comes to a point where it makes a decisions or gives us the output. So that's basically what machine learning is. We are comparing it with deep learning. So artificial intelligence, basically, it's a concept where machines mimic human intelligence, and machine learning itself. Uh, this is a subset of AI systems that learn from data without explicit programming. So in machine learning, you don't need to program or give instructions to the model. What we just do is we feed the model the data, it learns from the data and puts out the inputs. That's how machines learn. And then deep learning is basically it uses neural networks with multiple layers to find patterns in the data provided to it, so it can give an output. And then we have the visual part of it. It shows the nested circles. That's from AI, ML, and the DL. As simple as that. Uh, for this, think about it as let's say teaching computers to think and also learn like human beings. That's a summary of machine learning and deep learning. It's like teaching a computer how to think and learn like human beings. Our next part is we're going to look at the types of artificial intelligence. Today, we use what we call narrow AI. And then in the future, uh, we expect to reach at a level of super intelligence, which is basically now the general artificial AI. So there are two types of intelligence and more. We can break down the two, but for now, this is a basic level, we shall just concentrate on the two. That's the narrow and general AI. Breaking down narrow AI, it's like the weak AI. It can also be called the weak AI. It is designed to accomplish or complete specific tasks. For example, virtual assistants, recommendation systems for Netflix and Spotify, face recognition systems. You find that it's only intelligent at identifying faces and giving access and security purposes. So that's one AI, part of narrow AI. Then we have spam filters. It only filters out, let's say for email. Under emails, there are categories, inbox, and then there is part where we have the spam. So how intelligent the system is to single out an email coming in as a spam, and then it categorizes that under the spam section. So that means this system is only built to do that. Chess programs and very many other narrow AIs. Most of the time in today, that's what we use. You find that ChatGPT, now it does more tasks. It can generate images, it can generate text, it can write out of things. But you find that at some point it is narrowed to a task that at the end of the day you're going to put in a prompt and it's going to give you a text form response. That's basically the task. So it also falls under narrow AI. Then general AI, also called the strong AI or the AGI, this one will match the human intelligence. It can take part. Now, right now, I'll give you an example. Since we are still at the basic level, but in the future, if we get a chance to look at uh, the agentic age of artificial intelligence, now the agentic age is, let's say, having a system of employees, everyone looking at a specific task, but also coming to a common goal. So here we can also term this as general AI or a strong as a strong AI, that these agents are now reaching at the level of matching human intelligence. Not necessarily, but they are getting there. They can handle almost all tasks. They can transfer the learning from one domain to another if we have a system in one domain or in one enclosed area. That means if they are connected by a specific network. So if one of the models learns that from Peter likes to make breakfast at around this time and it's like the same, it will adapt and transfer that knowledge from one system to another. That's the general one. Then this is possible theoretically now, but for now it does not exist. This is what we always see in movies, the science fiction movies and all of that. But definitely everything is possible. We will get there. So that is the best thing. And then for the real world AI applications, we apply we are in this time we apply artificial intelligence on almost everything. There's even in the tech industry, there is no product that someone is going to sell to you. At some point, they're going to talk about AI. They're going to sell you an AI product. So we are using AI on a daily basis. It's a skill that we need. We are using it under healthcare to diagnose diseases, transportation. We have now self-driving cars. We have self-delivering robots, finance, fraud detections. We have trading algorithms, people who do forex trading. Then we have entertainment. People create content with AI. We also have content recommendations, let's say on TikTok and very many other platforms that use AI for recommending content, communication. We find that right now there are devices that do translation. There's a device that has come up. You put in an earpad, and you give the other earpad to maybe a Chinese person or a French person if you understand the language. For you, you're gonna speak in your own language, let's say in English, but they will understand whatever you're communicating in their language that they understand best. So that is all part of AI. Okay, that's where the world is moving. So it's a skill that we need, and we need to get and adapt to that. The next is now the history of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence comes from it's adapted as an idea theoretically. So its foundations, AI basically begins as an academic concept. It emerges as an academic idea or concept, and this was around 1950. Alan Turing, he proposes the Turing test. Turing test, but this one comes as a frame. He frames a question: Can machines think? This is where the whole idea comes from. Can machines think? Then in 1956, the term artificial intelligence now formally coined at at one conference called Dartmouth Conference, making AI's official birth as a field. Okay. Then around 1960s to 1970s, we have now the early programs. We have early programs demonstrations symbolizing reasoning and problem solving in machines. Expectations outpace reality due to limited computing power. Now, since now they were using machines to do the thinking, they need a lot of hardware and power. So now here we get challenges. As any successful progress, we always have challenges. So now we have challenges of computing power being limited, and data itself, the data that the machines are going to use to make decisions was also limited. So this leading to the first AI. We refer this as the first AI winter. Periods of reduced fund, reduced interest, biasness, and all of that. That's what around 1960s to 1970s. Then in the 1980s, we have now we now see expert systems coming in. Basically, here AI regains momentum through expert systems, role-based programs designed to mimic human decision. This is basically now we start programming the machines to do what's in the instructions. So here they are not thinking; they are being programmed, or they are given rules to do the decision making, but in a narrow domains. For example, in medicine, finance, and engineering. Here we still have high costs rising, and rigidity eventually restore progress again. High costs coming in, maintaining these systems and all of that. We see that they coming, and still we fall at a level where interest is being lost, and people who are funding all of these programs also get on a sideline. And then in the 90s to the 2000s, this is now where we emerge, we get the data, and the computer takes over. Now, most of the times, as I briefly talked about machine learning, where we have a machine learning, we must have data. So in the 80s, it's where now we see that the machines are programmed to think like humans, or to partake tasks and make decisions like humans. Then in the 80s, in the 90s, this is where we have an advancement where we now start collecting the data. So machine learning, whenever we talk about data, we are referring to machines learning. They gain traction on statistical methods outperforming role-based systems. So comparing let's say a robot. Take an example of a robot. comparing a robot that is given instructions to move from one point to another point, let's say uh, carrying luggage from point A to point B, and also a machine that is going to land by itself, that I have to, let's say at 11:30 I have to pick this luggage, and I'm going to take this luggage to point B at 12, by 12 that I have to be there. Now that's a machine thinking and learning, compared to, this is where now the era of data and computers take up the rule-based systems. Then in the 19 this is 1970, 19 around 97, we get the Deep Blue from IBM that defeats the world chess champion. So now singling out that AI is growing in capability and also trying to reach at a level of human level. And then in the 2010s, we now have a breakthrough of deep learning. I explained deep learning also, where we use neural networks, but basically the convergence of big data. So we talked about data, then now we are coming to a point where we're looking at big data. Big data basically is collecting vast amounts of data that machines will adapt to, find patterns into the data, and use that data to make decisions. So this was a major milestone in the image in the image recognition. This is the vision part of it, speech processing, natural languages, systems like virtual assistants and recommendations. Recommendations, we see them in Netflix, YouTube, and all of that. And also search engines. Search engines, they become now the mainstream of data. That's when we see Google becoming so intelligent that you can Google anything, and that's where AI comes from. That you can Google anything and you get the information then by then. Then in the 20 in 2020, that's when we see the emergence of generative AI, where AI now beats even the searching engines, that you can ask anything, you prompt it, and then it will generate it will generate text, code, images, and more. So here AI becomes a strategic asset across industries, rising new conversations around ethics. So now, after we have realized that AI can do such things, of course, we have bodies that are going to come up to regulate how AI is used. That's the ethics part of it. And of course, human AI collaboration comes with too. So all of this brings us to a point where we look at AI evolution from a theoretical level or ambitious, an idea that comes up as a theory, to a commercial and enterprise critical infrastructure. So that is basically the history. Then there are the key pioneers here. We have looked at Alan, and then we see John coming in, basically coined to the term. John is the one that comes up with the term that we commonly use, the artificial intelligence. And then we have Geoffrey, Jan, and very many others that are still contributing to the world of artificial intelligence. And now, how AI impacts our daily lives. We have things that we have been using on a daily, and we don't understand that we are using artificial intelligence. Things like the GPS navigations, the Google Maps, the shopping. Let's say shopping online. When you're shopping online, most of the times recommendation may come from your searches on Google, your even the movies that you're watching, TikTok. Uh, your TikTok feeds may recommend a product anytime. We look at entertainment from YouTube. Algorithms of YouTube may recommend specific content for you to watch because that's what you've spent time maybe searching on or watching. Netflix suggestions for movies that you watch. Let's say you've been watching adventures for maybe a week or something. So next recommendations will be around adventures and all of that. Then we have things like voice assistants, Siri, smart home devices, all of that have a little bit of AI and they impact our lives daily. So we are using artificial intelligence on a daily basis and we don't even know that we are using it. So when I was talking about the history of AI, where it's coming from and all of that, At some point, we see that after we have realized that it can produce text, it can do a lot of more tasks. I said now we have regulatory bodies that are going to come in to give us guidelines on how to legally use AI to not, let's say, do crime with all of that. So the ethics part will look will uh, will look at things like bias in AI systems, privacy concerns will arise. The bias itself is where you, let's say, you go and search for, since AI is using an algorithm to track your searches, to track what you're interested in. This can this can bring up a situation where AI is going to be biased. Also, let's for the part of the bias, taking an example of image recognition or image, yeah, face recognition devices. Face recognition devices may, at some point, refer to refer to a female doctor as a male. Okay, the position doctor is may be referred to as for only male because maybe this is the kind of data that has been fed into the model. So we have privacy concerns, whether AI is spying on us, whether AI is taking up our information. We have fear that AI systems and AI itself may replace us on our jobs, or it could even end up creating more jobs. The transparency and the explainability, then the safety and the security, and how important and the importance of the human oversight. And also the creativeness. Will we still be creative after we have adapted to all these AI systems, AI tools? Is it safe for us? Is it safe and is it secure for us to use this AI? All of these are looked at and also regulated by the ethics part of it. The common AI myths, things that you may think are true about AI, and yet in an actual sense they are not true. At some point, we may think AI will take over the world at some point. That's wrong. At some point, we may think that AI is even smarter than the humans themselves. That is wrong. And then AI itself, we may trust so much that we may think that AI doesn't make mistakes. AI makes mistakes. And the reality is AI is basically a tool that is created and controlled by humans. So we control the AI tools. It's us that create the tools, and definitely we can control them at any point. AI is specialized, it's not generally intelligent. So it's only intelligent at a specific part where you want it to be intelligent. So it's generalized, it's not intelligent. Then it's not generally intelligent. Then AI can also make mistakes and has limitations. There are things that uh, it may fall under the ethics part, but there are questions that you may ask AI, and AI is going to tell you that it cannot do that, or it can end up making mistakes or giving you false information. So this brings us to a point where where I'm going to advise that whenever you're using an AI tool, keep it in mind that it makes mistakes. So you need to first, for you to get something out of this system or AI tool, you have to understand how AI works. You have to understand. You have to also know. Okay, you have to have an idea on what really you're trying to get from AI. If it says, say, you're trying to write a research paper, you need to be an expert under that specific field. So you just use AI to make things easy for you at the end of the day. Yeah. So that is all for today. We are having the foundations and the history of AI, where it comes from until where it is right now. So looking ahead for our tomorrow's session, we shall explore how AI actually learns from data. So this is where we shall explore more about machine learning, deep learning, and more. Then machine learning foundations, hands-on activity, where we shall try to train our own fast model. So it's gonna be a hands-on session to where we'll try to train our our own model and see how it works. If there are any questions for these sessions, please feel free to send them to our emails through info at pearltechhub.com. Then our website is www.pearltechhub.com. Visit our website. We have vast services there. And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our social media handles to get to know our next boot camps, get to know our next programs. We have very many things that are in store that we're going to be bringing for our clients, for our students, and basically for the training part 2. Thank you so much.